Good morning slash afternoon, people of the interwebs. Even though I think I'm pretty much talking to nobody here at this point. I'll wait till we get a few people in here. There's a few people. Charles 75N, infam. I really wish I knew what that stood for. But there's a couple of folks here. If you guys hear some some unusual background noise in the stream today, which also might be kind of short for the same reason, it's because my Colts are playing right now, and so I have the game on in the background, and I'm kind of keeping one eye over on the television because my Colts are playing, and because I love the Colts. So much so that if they win, anyway. And right now they're up 3-0. And where are we? About 5 minutes left in the first quarter. If we win, I also have plans to take my lovely wife out to a very nice dinner tonight, in which I am probably going to wear my Darius Leonard jersey out. So, anyway, Infamula says my pronunciation is perfect. Okay. Fair enough. Also, I set the stream setting to ultra low latency. So, a few people last week had mentioned that still a little, there was still some lag and stuff like that. So I cranked up the, turned the latency down as far as I could get it. But note it says it does not support 4K or 1440p or closed cap, a bunch of other stuff that I don't even use. So I don't know. We'll see if it works. If there's some picture problems, then video problems, then we'll go back to the other one. So it's kind of tough for me to see on my end, to be honest, but it is what it is. Haas Coleman is here. Iggy Plateau says, "Go Colts." You Colts fan too? Good deal. I know there's at least a few of us out there in the world. So even a few of them outside Indianapolis. So yeah, I'm tired. It was a long week, and without getting into too many current events, a very eventful week. Though it also appears that there was quite a bit in the way of events going on in our own industry. So Paul Leonard Ewing. Welcome to you. Yes, I am alive and well, and all that stuff. So Jeff Sevens here. Hey, thought I forgot to say hey to you up there at the top. Thoughts on Gibson acquiring Mesa? There it is. Yeah, honestly, I don't think we're gonna see anything. It's gonna happen. Or it did happen. But as far as are we gonna see a drop in quality? Are we gonna see imports? Are we gonna see? I don't think any of that changes one bit, not one bit. So I think the only thing that we might see is new. More new amp models from Mesa at a more rapid pace. So, because they're going to have, now Mesa's going to have that big corporate backing behind them. So, financial backing, that is. So, I think that's really about the only thing that I think that we're going to see that's going to be any different. They're not going to start building amps overseas. They're not going to start, dropping in quality, et cetera, et cetera. I do think you're going to start seeing Mesa Boogie being carried in a lot more places. So, they might, this might get them back into, get them in Guitar Center to finally bury the hatchet, and Guitar Center start carrying Mesa Boogie again, as well as and I don't mean just the Mesa stores, what were the Mesa stores. I'm talking about the across a lot more stores in the chain. So. So I think that would be a good thing. You probably start seeing them pop up in Sam Ash's now, and any number of other of the big guys, Gibson dealers basically. So that don't currently carry Mesa. So now I don't. I'm at this point I'm optimistic until I have a reason not to be optimistic. But I don't think there's. I think from the consumer level. From what we see, I think, what I just mentioned, if we see anything at all, that's what it's going to be at. But that's all it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be anything beyond that. Iggy Plateau says, really a Cowboys fan? Oh, man. See, I grew up an Oilers fan in Houston. Not really a Cowboys fan, but I've dug the Colts since the days of Johnny U. Yeah, hard to deny that. Toughest dude to ever pick up a pigskin. Johnny U was badass, man. He was badass. Paul Leonard Ewing is on a break from rehearsal. Oberode said, if Mesa F's up, I can always get a speaker built at Mojotone. Well, Mesa doesn't build speakers. They use, for the most part anyway, they use Celestions in just about everything. They have some Celestions, especially made for them, like the Black Widow Vintage 30, but they don't, Mesa doesn't actually build speakers themselves. Raw speakers, that is. Mark A says, what's for lunch today? I am eating light. And what I mean is, I will be, if you're just jumping on, if you hear some weird background noise that you don't normally hear, it's because I had the Colts game on here in the background, as the Colts, just barely snuck into the playoffs this year. So I am keeping an eye on the game as I am talking to you guys. But the other big plans on my agenda today are also to take my lovely wife out to a very, very nice, expensive dinner tonight. So, fairly expensive, kind of expensive, not real expensive, but, so I don't want to get too full for that. So I think I am probably just going to have some chips and salsa that I brought home from Qdoba last night. Yeah. Weird and Wonderful Gaming says, sexy voice. That may be the first time any of you has ever hit on me on one of these live streams, but okay. Interesting. Thunder Falcon says, did Mustaine go to Gibson? If he did, there will be a Kramer and Epiphone signature also. I did hear that Dave Mustaine did go to Gibson, as did Gene Simmons this week as well. So I did hear that Dave Mustaine went to Gibson. I got to imagine they're just going to build him a Flying V model. So, a Flying V and probably an Explorer model. But, yes, if he goes, that's my understanding, and they all announced Gibson. They didn't say anything about Kramer, if he's, usually if he's a Gibson signature artist, they usually do an Epiphone version of the signature model. Sometimes that's all they do, but Dave Mustaine's big enough that he's probably gonna get a Gibson. So, he's not like this isn't me throwing shade at Matt Heafy, but most of Matt Heafy's fans can't afford a Gibson signature Matt Heafy. Most of Matt Heafy's fans can afford the Epiphone. Dave Mustaine, on the other hand, his reach, his audience, and his fan base is a little bit older, and they got a little bit more money. So. I think that he is probably going to. They're going to give him the Gibson version. Whoa! What do we got here? End around from the Colts that we don't see very often. And a first down. Attaboy. Sorry. You expect that a lot today. Let's see. Paul Leonard Ewing said, "My guess is we will see some budget Gibson branded amps. Keep in mind what Gibson calls entry level prices." That's true. We could see some Gibson branded amps again with the Mesa buyout. That is true. I didn't think about that, but I don't know. Honestly, I kind of hope that they do, but we'll see. Times they are changing. Southern Gentleman says, Robert, did you check out any of the Black Star pedals on Musician's Friend with the stupid deal of the day discount? I didn't even know they were selling Black Star pedals on for a stupid deal of the day, to be honest with you. I used to get those alerts on my phone every day, and and I always checked it every day, but for some reason they stopped. So I haven't paid attention to those and quite some time. Every now and again I'll go take a look at it and see what's see what they're selling. But anymore, most of the time it's stuff that I don't need or I'm not interested in or I already have. So yeah, no, I did not see those. So which was it? Was it the tube, like the HT, the big tube pedals? I thought those were those have long since been sold out. It's probably, so I'm assuming it was the smaller ones. So the more current line, which well, now you got me curious. Let's see, what is the stupid deal of the day today? Nope, I stand corrected. It is. You're right. Today is the HT Drive. Tube overdrive. Interesting. $79. Wow. Pretty cool, but I don't need I need another drive pedal like I need a hole in my head right now. So the other thing with those Black Star pedals, they do actually sound really, really good. I demoed the HT, what they're called, HT Dist X, which is like one of their metal. It's not the metal distortion. It's not the HT metal distortion, but it's like close to that. I think it might even be the same one. I don't know. But yeah, I mean that's a killer sounding pedal. I demoed that thing earlier this year or last year now, I guess. They are the biggest problem with them is they come with that stupid, depending on which one it is and which era it was bought in, it's either a stupid 16 volt proprietary power supply or a stupid 22 volt proprietary power supply, neither of which are compatible with anything else on your board. So they're kind of that's what makes them a huge pain in the ass. Philip Engelman says, I bought my boogies from Sam Ash. They could. I didn't. I don't think. I'm sure there's probably a few Sam Ashes around that carry Mesa Boogie, but they're they're not very common. So and that's because Mesa Boogie's policies about they don't want any two dealers carrying their product within, I think it's like 75 miles of each other. So damn it, Buffalo scored and I wasn't paying attention to it. Anyway, they don't want any two dealers to be any closer than like 75 miles, and they do that. It's I think they do that mostly because they want to avoid competing with themselves. So there's other reasons for it, but that's the big reason. So there it could very well be that there is a Sam Ash or two or three out there that is the Mesa Boogie store choice. So Let's see. Jeff Parker's here. What's up, buddy? Uh-huh. Doc Amos Roxy. Thunder Falcons. So Sweetwater selling Behringer pedals for $19. They've got them listed for $19, but the vast majority of them are sold out. That's, well, actually, it's not that they're sold out. They haven't gotten them yet. Which it's, I don't. Behringer's doing. They've been hard to get for months now. Because they sold out everywhere, and then in the midst of that, they ended their relationship with their with the music people, or not the music people, the Music Tribe, whoever the big dealership was, their big dealer in the U.S. was. So, they haven't had anybody to distribute for them over here. So they've been trying to either self-distribute or work out of some other stuff. I don't know. It's been a huge mess. So, Sweetwater seemed to be the first ones that have landed them. Yes, the two. Sweetwater says HT Dual. If I'd seen the HT Dual was listed cheap, I probably would have grabbed it. So HT Dual is a killer pedal. That one is a killer pedal. I wonder if they still got it on their website. Because a lot of times, and I'm willing to bet just because, as long as those pedals have been around, come on. Just because as long as those pedals have been around, they have, usually when you see a deal like that on Musician's Friend or on Stupid Deal of the Day, it's usually because they're trying to get rid of them. Black Star pedal. I got quite a few of them. Let's see, HT Dist. That's the lower gain version. There's a used Dist X at one of the stores. HT Drive, HT Boost. Yep, HT Dual's gone, unfortunately. That sucks. Now, if I had seen it, I would have grabbed one. I don't, assuming it was assuming it was $80 like the HT Drive is. I'm sure it was more expensive than that, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying to keep my gear purchasing to a minimum right now because I have, I've given it a lot of thought. And I really want to buy my Les Paul this year. So, and right now I'm about, I've got some money stashed in a few different places, and if I factor it all in, I'm about halfway to where I need to be. Where I need to be to buy that damn thing, maybe a little less. But if I work at it hard enough and long enough and stay focused at it, I think I can finally do it this year. So, but that's also going to slow down the process and back things up quite a bit if I go buying, distortion overdrive pedals that I don't need. See, Jeff Parker says, speaking of Kramer, they were coming out with a couple signature guitars. Dave the Snake Sabo, sweet. From NAMM 2020, they were on AMS, all removed and gone from Kramer's site. I got to assume the pandemic put a damper on all that stuff. Though I doubt that it means that they scrapped it all together. I think it probably means they just postponed it. So. That's not as uncommon as you might think too, because TC Electronic, how many years at NAMM did they announce the June 60 chorus pedal? It was at least 2, if not 3, before they finally released it. So, sometimes there's just delays for any number of reasons. But so I doubt they scrapped it. So. The Dave, the Snake Sabo signature would be cool though. I didn't know he was playing Kramers. He was always one of those guys that kind of played more oddball stuff, at least back in the '90s. More off the radar brands of stuff, guitars and amps. He was one of the first guys that was playing Rivera amps when nobody even knew who Rivera amps were. Mm. James Severin, Charles Casper, Roy Batty, Dave Escobar, AAE86. What's up, guys? Let's see. Charles Casper says I have a lot of guitars, some high end, some low end, but when me and my band play live, I use my low end guitars and play good with them. But I just want to show people you don't need money to play. Dude, Dave Mustaine does the exact same thing. For years he's been widely known to play his Korean-made Deans out on tour, and he doesn't take the expensive USA stuff out on tour with him. He plays the Korean ones. So that's that's probably gonna change when he goes to Gibson, but once he starts, once that whole transition changes. Or maybe he'll just keep touring with the Deans. That would piss off Gibson, but I don't think he would do that, though. Philip Engelman says, how do you feel about Bad Dog? I don't even know what that is, so I have no feelings about Bad Dog. Doc Amos Roxy says, I see TC tube drivers on local used market. Must suck. I don't. Again, I'm not sure what you're referring to. If you're talking about the tube pilots, the TC Electronic, the tube pilot overdrive, I don't think that pedal sucks at all. I think it's a great pedal. Yeah, tube pilot's what you're talking about. Yeah, no, matter of fact, I've demoed most of the pedals out of that line, and of all of those pedals, the tube pilot was one of the ones that actually I got the most compliments on. So. No, that's actually it surprised me, but a lot of people really like it. It's got a really, really warm and it's not the tightest sounding overdrive in the world at all, but because it's got a lot of that tube sag in it. But no, that's a good pedal. There, boy, my boy Jonathan Taylor is. They need to just rename him Jonathan Bulldozer because nobody can stop him. I think he went over 250 yards total last week or something ridiculous. Let's see. Anthony Finch. So let me just ease in here. Happy Saturday, everyone. There's no easing in and out of here, dude. You're either here or you're not. This is what I thought. 86 says, what do you think about Mesa, Bigson Mesa up? You're talking, that's what we've been talking about all day. I think it's, I don't think you're going to see, not all day, but, for, last 20 minutes we've been doing this so far. I don't think there's going to be any major change, that you're going to see from the consumer level. What you might see some, you might see Mesa coming out with some more amps at a faster rate. You might see Mesa being carried in more places than you normally do now. I.e. Gibson dealers that don't currently carry Mesa. And somebody else mentioned earlier that you might see some Gibson branded amps. At a quote unquote budget. Given what Gibson's definition of the word budget means. Some Gibson budget amps being sold one day down the road, but but anything beyond that, I don't think you're going to see one single little bit of difference from Mesa Boogie. Thunder Falcon says Mustaine is good at pissing people off. He is good at pissing people off, but he's not known to breach contracts. Which is, I imagine, possibly anyway, is what he could be doing at if he were to, after just signing a new guitar endorsement deal with Gibson, if he were to continue playing his old Dean guitars while out on stage. Not that there's a lot of bands playing out on stage right now to begin with. Anyway. Charles Casper says, I play First Act 222 just to show, like I said, basically to show that you don't have to spend a lot of money on gear. But although, First Act actually make really, really nice guitars. A lot of people only know about First Act as their, the cheap Walmart, starter pack things that you see, for $100 for everything on the way out the door. And that's not true at all. First Act actually makes some really, really nice guitar. They had a, I think it was they had a signature model of one of the Mastodon guys. I think it was Brent Mason, or I'm sorry, Brent Mason, Brent Hines. Is that his name? Brent Hines? Yeah. I think he had a signature model with First Act there at one point, and actually, just get on Reverb and just search for First Act, and then filter by filter the search results by highest price to lowest, and you're going to be surprised what pops up. There's some easily a lot of $2,000 and $3,000 guitars that pop up right there right away. So no, First Act are not a garbage guitar company by any means. Doc Amos Roxy says, see the most weekly around my large city for $30 to $50. Might get one. Yeah, for $30 to $50, I would. $30 anyway. I mean, that pedal, they're not that, like 50, 60, $70 brand new. So, I wouldn't pay too much for a used one, but when you can get a new one for not much more than that. But yeah. DJ Calvi says, new amp day for me, Marshall DSL 20HR. Good for you, man. Awesome. Yeah, the new Marshall DSLs are awesome, dude. You will enjoy that amp quite a bit, I'm sure. Philip Ingman says, Bad Dog is a Washburn pedal. Oh, yeah. I have not played any Washburn pedals, to be honest with you. I know very little, if not, little next to nothing about them, about any of them. I've never played any of the Washburn stuff, unfortunately. AE86 says, what I see is Gibson warranty service hell now for your Mesa. I don't see that at all because the people that are currently running Mesa Boogie is not supposed to change at all. So everything is the only difference from the only back end difference really is they're going to have corporate financial backing behind them now. That's it. No operations are changing, no shutting down factories, and they're not moving to Nashville, or they're not going to start importing parts and using Chinese-made Celestion speakers. Or none of that's going to happen. Everything stays pretty much identical to how it is now from an operations perspective. Roy Batty says, I like Dave. He has balls and is afraid to express himself. World could use some more honesty. Not lying about that. Let's see. Charles 75 says, do you think I might see the return of some classic Gibson amps? I don't know that we'd see the return of some classic Gibson amps, but it wouldn't, somebody brought up earlier that they might start making some Gibson branded amps of some kind, be it budget amps or otherwise. Gibson's idea of a budget amp being a, probably $800 to $1,000 tube amp. But, I don't know. It was just announced this week. They haven't really, really talked too much about, what plans are for, from a consumer standpoint, what changes we might see, if anything. So Jeff Parker says you think maybe Guitar Center will start carrying Mesa finally. What you mean you start carrying Mesa again? I hope they do. Because that relationship, Guitar Center was a Mesa Boogie dealer for a long time, and several years back, and I won't get into the story of it, but that relationship went south, and the two parted ways, and Guitar Center haven't carried Mesa Boogie now since like 2000. It's been close to 10 years now. I want to say 2011, 2012, something like that. So and the two companies have been in the doghouse with each other ever since. So I'm hoping that they are, that this, the Gibson buying out Mesa will allow the hatchet to be buried, so to speak. Did they? Bastards. Okay, no, they didn't score again. All right. Just to give you an update, if you are just now popping in here, my Colts are playing right now, so I'm hanging out with you guys, but I'm also keeping an eye on the Colts game. So because my Colts are playing. Let's see. Dave Escobar says, ever come across a Two Works BK Butler head? Never a head. I've seen plenty of the pedals, but never a head. Saw one at a pawn shop for super clean, pretty clean, heavy amp head with dog fur carpet Tolex, USA made. I've never run across one before. I've never seen them. I didn't even know they existed. So interesting. Southern Gentleman said, what was your favorite venue you ever played at? Oh, boy. Ooh. Before it started to go downhill, there was a place down on the south side of Indianapolis before it started to go downhill. A place called the Rock House, and I used to play there every week. And like I said, before it started to go downhill, and changed ownership, and a number of things happened that that kind of drove it into the ground. And now I think it's a sports bar. They don't have a stage in it anymore. But that was a really cool place to play. Let's see, another bar here, north side of Indianapolis called Britain Tavern. That one's always been a cool place to play. Big stage, big high stage. A good mix of a good, like really, really eclectic audience. So, they have metal bands there, they have DJs there, they have pop, top 40 cover bands there. They have, all kinds of stuff, and they're also a sports bar. So, that's just a really, really cool place to hang out. So, if you're asking if I, like big venues that I've played, I really haven't played any that I can think of, outdoor festivals and stuff like that, but, never, I haven't played any big major venues. So, let's see. AE86 says, unless it's made in a custom shop, there aren't many guitar factories left, so likely all the stuff is coming out of the same doors, just with different logos. I don't necessarily disagree with that either, because there's still a lot of American-made guitars that are not necessarily custom shop. Gibson, for example. Gibson has a custom shop, but not every guitar that comes out, that they crank out comes out of that factory. Same with Taylor, same with Martin, same with PRS. All those companies have custom shops, but they also have standard production shops in the USA as well, among others. Jack Collins says, Robert, I have a first act bass. It sounds better than my Dean bass I have. Not unusual, man. Like I said, first act actually make really, really good instruments. Believe it or not. I mean, there's a lot of people that aren't, they've just kept a really low profile. There's a lot of people that are only familiar with the Walmart stuff, And of course, the stupid garage master Volkswagen thing that the one that they gave away with, for anybody that bought a Volkswagen that year, they had Slash and John Mayer and Nigel Tufnell and doing commercials and stuff for him, which and I've made fun of those guitars in the past. I think they're garbage, but those are fairly well known. But beyond that, anything else that they make is pretty is a pretty low profile guitar. So Jeff Seven says Dave Escobar got a Tube Works 112 7100 combo I've had for years. It's a beast, and the clean channel is ungodly loud. So they are out there. Proof that I don't know everything there is to know about guitar gear. Not that I ever claimed it. Not that I ever claimed to, but yeah, if they got a cheap at a they're a cheap they're a pawn shop. There's a head at a pawn shop cheap somewhere. I'd grab it. Doc Gamers Rock says, does anyone who sees the late 70s, 80s black Yamaha G Series solid state combos on the used market? They're steel, usually well under $100, awesome condition, incredible cleans and pedal platform. Buy one. Those are the Yamaha G Series amps are really, really good. They were the gain channel on some of them kind of really kind of sucks depending on which generation of those that you got. But the clean channels are on those amps are really, really good. It's basically Yamaha's version of a Roland JC120. Basically what those amps are, for lack of a better description. My knees hurt, says a person can be honest and not be a jerk. Too many people confuse those two things. Agreed. Matter of fact, that's a philosophy I try to live by quite a bit. You can be honest with somebody, but you don't have to be an asshole about it at the same time. David Savage 21 says, hi, Robert. What is your dream guitar? Mine is a black Gibson Les Paul Custom. Also, do you still have the Zakk Wylde Les Paul still? And is it real Gibson? My dream guitar actually is a Gibson Les Paul Custom. And that was, if you just jumped in here, I was talking earlier, I'm trying to keep my gear purchases to a minimum this year because the financial position I'm in right now, I still got to do some saving. I still got to work on some few things. I still got to sell a few things, but I think I can finally buy it this year. If I work at it and stay focused. So, and I've been chasing that guitar for 20 years now. So, which means there might not be quite as much new gear being demoed on the channel this year, but is what it is. So. As far, do I still have the Zakk Wylde? If you're talking about the Vertigo Les Paul that I have, yes, I do still own it. No, yes, it is authentic. Gibson, no, it is not a fake Gibson. A86 says, Aspen told me GC screwed Mesa over with a credit deal. That's not true at all. That's not true at all. No, what happened was, Guitar Center they'd had trouble getting support from Mesa Boogie for years. I mean, I personally pulled, several Mesa Boogie amps out of the box right away, and that were, something on them didn't work or they just didn't fire up at all right out of the box, and they wouldn't take them back from us and correct the problem and fix them and send them back. So that we had to have them fixed by a third party. And sometimes they got fixed okay, sometimes they didn't, and it just led to a great big mess with a lot of people, with us and our customers, and this went on for a long time. So Mesa Boogie eventually came out with their new pedal line, and they wanted us to put, they wanted Guitar Center to put, and I say us because I was still at the store at that time. But they wanted Guitar Center to every one of their stores, 270 some odd stores at the time, to carry every store in the chain to carry their pedals. And the buyers at Guitar Center were like, whoa, let's But let's put them in like 50 stores to start out. Let's see how they do, and if they take off, then we'll put them in more stores from there. And Mesa Boogie like, no, we've already done our market research. We already know that they're going to sell. We already know they're going to sell it. Every store that et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that conversation got heated and got escalated, and between that and the previous problem with the amp support, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Basically, what happened was, Guitar Center finally decided to give Mesa Boogie the finger, and they they clearanced out all the rest of their product, and that was the end of it. So, like I said, that was 10 years ago. That was a long time ago. Now maybe even longer than that, but yeah, it didn't have anything to do with credit deals or anything like that. So it was just the industry's changed quite a bit since then too. I mean, looking back, I think Guitar Center probably I don't know, I could see both sides of it. So because if Guitar Center wanted to start at 50 stores before they blasted those pedals out to all stores, that's the safe way to go about it. I don't that's the safe way to go about it, which I get. But at the same time, nowadays, especially with the way the pedal industry, boutique pedal industry, is blown up the way that it has. Way different story. So, like I said, hopefully, maybe now the two parties can come back to the table and let bygones be bygones and get back to making money together. Ian Wolf says, hello, man. Thanks for the review about solid state amps. You're welcome. Ricky Compton is here. Guitar Gear Guyan is here. Says, have you ever played a Jaguar? That bridge and trim drives me mad. Yeah, I played several Jaguars. You got to keep in mind, I'm not much of a Fender guy. I'm just not. I like Strats. I do like Strats. But and I'd like to get my hands on one. A nice one to own one day, but I don't need it. I certainly don't need 20 of them. I'm never gonna need a telly. Those things twang way too much for my taste. Nothing wrong with build quality or anything like that. They're just not for me. I'm just, for the most part, I'm just not a Fender guy. I like Fender. I like their, I respect them. I really, really enjoy learning about their history, et cetera, et cetera. I like their amps. But I'm never going to be a diehard Fender player. So. Charles 75 N says, don't forget the thumbs up, folks. Yes, please don't forget the thumbs up. In the super chat, Milk. Thank you, sir, for the super chat. Says, love your channel. Have a gripe with your position on PV6505 not gaining enough for metal. When you can, pre-gain at 10, post at 2. Crunch enabled, optional OD pedal for tightness, monster amp. I never said it wasn't gaining enough for metal. I said it, was, what I said was I think it's a better rock amp than it is metal amp. That's all it is. I recognize there are plenty of people out there that use that amp for metal. A lot of people use that amp for metal. I'm not denying that at all. And it is a good metal amp. I just think it's better. You keep in mind who it was designed for. Eddie Van Halen was not a high gain player at all. For the most part, he'd crank it up every now and again, but for the most part, Eddie did play with a lot of gain. With most of his stuff was done on the rhythm channel, and the lead channel of that amp was turned way down. So as far as the gain goes, a lot of other people have done the same thing with. Ted Nugent was using those amps for a long time, at least live. So. But that's just my opinion. Personally, I love the the 5150s and the 6505s. I think they're great amplifiers. I'm not knocking them at all. But but it's just for metal, you put that amp up against a dual rectifier or an Engel Savage or a Diesel Herbert or something like that. There's There's no comparison. Doc Amos Roxy in the super chats says, "Does everyone that contributes to the LP fund get to play it? Enjoy those Saturday hangouts, flash forums, support small channels. Thank you very much. If you are in the neighborhood, or we are in the same vicinity, after I buy the damn thing, if I get to buy the damn thing, if you are in the vicinity and you would like to play the Gibson Les Paul and you contributed to the to the Les Paul fund, yes, you are more than welcome to play it, provided you don't scratch it or ding it or anything like that. If you ding it, I ding you. I keep my gear looking as brand new as I can. I'm not I don't want it relicked. Damn it. Taylor looks like he got stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Colts defense is playing pretty well, though. Minute 53 left already? Wow. Yeah, minute 53 left in the second quarter. It's almost halftime. We got them held to a touchdown. Let's see. Doc Amos Roxy says, tweet owners bought a cheap mini pedal, Dumble pedal. Well, I don't have a clue if it sounds like a Dumble. It really tightens and mellows any edges on my Tweed Blues Junior. Great cheap accident. I don't actually have a whole lot of experience with with any Dumble style pedals. The Dumble amps themselves, selling for $100,000 nowadays. I don't know how they ever. Yeah, I don't know how they ever got that expensive, but they did. But I think I've seen one in person once. I think the guy that fixes my amps, he happened to have one in his shop when I was dropping something off to him. But I've never played through one. So the gentleman says, "Did you ever get to try out the Fender M80 amps?" It's been a long time. I've played them before. Like I said, it was a long time ago though. At the time they didn't really do anything for me. But again, that was a long time ago. My ear has changed. My taste has changed. I don't need to play through nearly as much gain as I used to. A lot of things about myself as a guitar player has changed quite a bit since the last time I played through an M80. So and honestly, I haven't seen one in person in a long time now. So if I were going to try one, I'd have to just buy one off the internet and let it show. Try it when it showed up here. And like I said, it's not really a priority at the moment. Jeff Parker says, "Sitting home, COVID, band on hiatus. Finally, after 35 years of playing, thinking of buying my first bass ever. Used to just use octopedal before, but you recommend as first bass Ibanez Schecter, or if you might even go Yamaha. So, for a first bass or BC Rich, well, use BC Rich. I don't think BC Rich are making basses again yet, or if they are, they're slim. But yeah, with basses, I've always had much better luck on the used market though. I've got my 70, I think mine's a 78 or 79 Eagle bass, NJ series Eagle bass. That I use a lot, and then that Charvel 3B from which is an 80s bass that I use quite a bit. And either one of those is great. I like both of those, but I've always wanted either Yamaha. Yamaha has a model called TRB X504 that I've wanted to add to the mix, which is a $500 bass. It's one of those things I was more of a want than a need. It's the reason why I've never bought one. But that's a great bass, and then of course it's tough to go wrong. It's just a good old fashioned Fender jazz bass, man. Fender jazz bass is a great bass. It's a great bass. They're great for recording. They cut through the mix really, really well. And despite the fact that that most of them only have 2 single coil pickups in them, they actually sound really, really good in a lot of different genres of music. So I need to add a jazz bass to my repertoire as well. for recording purposes anyway. I doubt I'm going to be playing bass in in an actual band again anytime soon. Doc Ames Roxy says yes, gain sucks. Talking about the Yamaha G100 solid state amp. Says, but great cleans. Any James H, as in James Hetfield fans, would love the cheap B alternative to the Roland. As I've heard James uses. James and Kirk actually both use the Roland JC120 for their clean tone. So that's been the basis of JC120 has been the basis for their clean sound for pretty much their entire career. They mixed in a Fender, deluxe and stuff like that here and there in the studio over the years. But for the most part, up until I think just this last tour when they both started using Axe-Fx processors, and Axe-Fx processors, and what are those power amps that they're using? Starts with an M. I can't think of it off the top of my head now, but Matrix Power Amps. Up until they switched to those on this last tour, I mean, they've both of them have always had a JC120 head in their rack, in their anvil case. So, and I think those Roland don't really make the JC120 heads. I think they made those specifically for James and Kirk. So I don't think that's ever been a production model. Regardless. Roy Batty says for a guitarist, Rickenbacker 4001 is more comfortable. Rickenbacker 4001 is a great bass, man. That is a great bass. Oh, you stupid YouTube. Let's see. Cushman NYC 308 Media Mike. What's up, fellas? William De Silva. Sears says just ordered myself a Petty John Rouse. Ever played any Petty John electronics? I've never played any of them actually. They look cool. I know they're popular. But I haven't gotten to play any of them, unfortunately, though. So they look. I will give them credit. They look exceptionally well built. So, and I've heard a few, like in demos and stuff. So, I know they make good stuff. I've never gotten to try them though. There's not anybody around me that carries them. So, and I didn't do a whole lot of traveling in 2020. So. Mikey Gabbard says, I recently got a Donner Circle Looper. It's the most fun I've had with a pedal in a while. They are a lot of fun. They sent me one to demo, and I've since moved it on already. That wasn't something I was gonna have any need for beyond that. But that pedal is a lot of fun. It does do a lot of cool stuff. So, especially if you're just sitting around jamming at home, which most people are right now. Great little practice tool. Great little songwriting tool too. Doc Ames Roxy says, dang, been rediscovering Uncle Ted Shred in recent months. Savage player. Old Uncle Ted is a hell of a shredder, man. That dude could, whether you love his politics or you hate his politics, ignore his politics altogether, that dude is a hell of a guitar player, and he always has been. So, yeah. Yep. I love old Ted. Always been a big Ted Nugent fan. Let's see. Mike St. Croix says, you ding it, I ding you. Thunder Falcons, as RGD in the chat, have you heard the new John Sykes song, Dawning of a Brand New Day? I have not. I have not. I think I don't know. I ran across somebody that said something about a new John Sykes something or other the last week or so, but that's it. No, post a link there in the chat so we can check it out if there is one. Or I guess we can probably just look it up nowadays. Find it on YouTube. I don't think John Sykes has put out anything in a long time, so it's good to see that he's I don't know if he's still doing it, but doing it again anyway. William Silva says Buckner is a flat-out stud. He played for my Ducks. Go Indy. Yes, he is. You know, he missed a game or two earlier in the season, and they felt it without him. And who was it? They got the Colt. They got their asses kicked by somebody they shouldn't have gotten their asses kicked by. And it was very, very clear it's because there was no DeForest Buckner on the field. So, yeah, actually, I don't think it was. It wasn't an injury. I think he tested positive for COVID. He had to quarantine. So. But yeah, he is a hell of a player. James Davison says Wampler Euphoria is a great rumble. Wampler make fantastic pedals. Oh, Dumble is what you said. I meant to say is a great Dumble pedal. Wampler make. I don't think Wampler have ever put out a bad pedal, to be honest with you. Brian Wampler, I think, is one of the absolute pure geniuses of the pedal world. He listens. He listens to what people want. He pays really, really close attention to the market, and then he goes to work on his bread box and starts doing whatever those guys with bread boxes do, and he makes it happen. So. Yeah, now Brian Wampler is a very, very intelligent individual and a very, very talented guy. Cool Guitar Gears here says a short pop in to say hello. I've been enjoying your latest demos and reviews. Thank you, sir. I have I've gotten to demo a lot of cool stuff here recently. A lot of it thanks to referrals from you, actually. So thank you for that. And so I've gotten to do a lot of demo some cool stuff, and a few other stupid video ideas that have come my way that I've put out as well, just because I enjoy them, or a few people have asked me for a video on various topics, and there's been a couple of those, a lot of people requesting some stuff that I don't want to do here recently. So I haven't decided if I'm going to, ignore it or if I'm going to suck it up and do it. I don't know yet, but I'll keep those details to myself until one way or another. But, yeah, that's the thing about YouTube. A number of you kept asking me for my worst Christmas gifts video, so I put that one up, and then none of you watched it. So, yeah, if that's YouTube. If there is anything in the world that's more unpredictable than YouTube, I would sure like to know what it is, because I haven't found it. Let's see. William Silva says, I got a Schecter Stiletto, good semi-cheaper starter bass. The Stilettos are good basses, but they are a little bit bigger and heavier. The necks on them are a little, are fairly fat too. So, Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. And we're going back. We're going back. Colts interception in the Bills' end zone. He got all the way to the end zone, but I think I heard a whistle blow, and it's going to be a touchback. Damn it. Still. Yep. Okay, cool. Go Colts. Sorry. Yeah, but yeah, still, Schecters I think are great, very, very well made instruments. But they're, the basses, the stilettos anyway, are a little bit bigger and bulkier. And if you're a guitar player looking for a bass and you like really thin necks, that Schecter neck, you may or may not like it. So, let's see. Mm, Milk says BC Rich currently makes, I think, 4 different bass models. I would have to. It seems like they would probably have at least a couple of bases out. I don't know. I don't know what models. Probably a Warlock or something like that. Now that I think about it, Warlock and a Mockingbird. But those aren't my favorite BC Rich bass models. I like the more. I like the for BC Rich. I like the Eagle bases, the Waves if you can find them, and let's see. The Mockingbirds are okay. Mockingbird bases are okay. They're a little on the for sitting down and recording anyway. The ST bases, which they haven't made in years. Mm. Zoso says, "What do you think of the Beretta Specials?" If you're talking about the current Beretta Specials, the Kramers, I haven't played them, but from what I understand, it is it's a really really good guitar for under $200. So I keep meaning to pick one up, but I mean honestly, they're especially during the pandemic, they're sold out everywhere, and I haven't been able to find one. So and again, that's also one of those things that hasn't been a it's been more of a want than a need. So I've got a Les Paul in my sights right now. So the other thing you got to think of is people ask me, so what do you think of this? What do you think of this? What do you think of this? I mean, while I still work in the industry, but I don't work in a store. So I mean, I work in a remote office, and so I don't I sell gear for a living, but it never passes through my hands. So it's I don't actually get my hands on a ton of gear these days. Some I do, but not nearly as often as I once did. So fuck. How the hell did they get the ball back? I thought we intercepted it. Bastards. Mm-hmm. Mikey Gabber says, Doc, the Circle is my first Donner pedal. If I'm thinking of getting one of their multi effects now, they were supposed to send me some of that stuff and they never did. So yeah, I don't know. Them and there's another. I think the same company that distributes. They were also going to send me some hot tone, whatever, however that brand's pronounced. So, I guess they've got a new processor out that I've never seen. So yeah, I don't know. I was trying to get a hold of some of that stuff to demo for you guys, but it never came. Doc Ames Roxy says, I've been enjoying the hell out of Ted recently. Jumps out of 4x4 with guts on his clothes and shreds. Very powerfully at that, like a bad kid with a gleam in his eye. Yep, that's Ted. Thunder Falcon says, go to John James Sykes on YouTube. I will go check him out here a little bit later on today. Doc Amos Roxy says when Burrow returns with upgraded protection, I hope Colt's in trouble. We'll see. You know, it's a long. You know, right now I just want to get through the rest of the playoffs this year. Right now I just want to get through this game in which the Bills just took the lead, bastards. Hmm. Ryan Finley says I'm building a couple of Telecasters. I'm having trouble soldering the pickups. Soldering's a pain in the ass if you don't know how to do it, man. You know, if you've never done it before, it's a little more skill involved in learning that than a lot of people might realize. That's not always a lot of. It's not real easy. Some guys make it look easy, and that's because they've been doing it for years. But sometimes I still struggle with it as well. Pardon me. Lefty Guitarist is here, so Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. Jeff Parker says I watched your. I'm not talking about you. Jeff watches just about every single video that I put up. I mean, I could. I'm pretty sure I could put up a video of me, taking a dump, and Jeff would watch it and comment on it. So, I'm not gonna do that, but that's I'm using that as an example of of Jeff's loyalty. And Jeff's support of the channel. As like I said, he watches just about every single video that I posted, and has for a long time. Watch your video. Someone, Roy Batty says, I watched the Christmas gift video. Someone gave me that effing pick maker thing free. So you got a pick punch. I hate the pick punch. Let's see. Charles 75N says I watched the Christmas video twice. Well, that's the thing only got like 1,200 views or something like that, which is horrid because the one that I put up last year got almost 100,000. So when I say nobody watched it, I guess that's what I'm referring to. So compared to the first one that you guys really enjoyed, nobody watched it. Doc Amos Roxy says I have a CS3, always makes noise. Is that common? It can be, noise, because compressors can be noisy because essentially it doesn't necessarily add more gain, but it kind of sounds like it does, kind of sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, it might be worth it to stick a noise gate in the chain somewhere behind it, to quiet things down a little bit. James Davison in the super chat says, any tips on how to work for a distributor manufacturer gear? I'm in hospitality and want to change into another passion. It's real tough, man, to be honest with you. I've been trying to get in on the vendor side for a long time, and it's not easy. I'm in a pretty good spot now that I haven't checked or sent out any resumes here in a while. But for the most part, they won't even talk to you if you don't have any MI experience. So in other words, MI, and I'm not talking about you could be a great guitar player, but they're generally looking for people that have MI retail experience, to be more specific. So. And also it's a lot of travel. It's it's a lot of travel. You're on the road a lot for depending on the company anyway. But driving or flying or some of those people are traveling all over the country. So, but I mean to get in, probably the best thing to do is get a start out at get a job at your local guitar shop and get some MI experience under your belt, and then do well there, and then start sending out resumes to Gibson or Martin or whichever brand it is that that you may have your eye on. Hmm. Michael Lewis says James Davidson's brother, lead singer. Yes, I have no idea. Doc Avis Roxy says a power problem with CS3. My Fender Pugilist made noise, has been recorded, changed power, and bam, fixed the home. The Yeah, I mean that could be depending on on what kind of hum it is. You might, if you're running a bunch of pedals, you could be, especially if you got them daisy chained. It could be that the CS3 is just not getting enough juice. So, that can happen. If you don't have enough milliamps running to a pedal, it can make this really really weird high pitched sound that is not pleasant at all. It's subtle, but you can hear it, and it's annoying. So, yeah, tough. Alrighty. Well, guys, I am going to cut this short because, because like I said, my Colts are playing. So my Colts are playing. I'm going to go eat some chips and salsa, and I am going to go out and have a very very nice dinner and be really really full and happy here in about 7 or 8 hours from now. So we are going out for Italian. So, yeah. So anyway, thanks, guys. I know we'll usually do this for a couple hours, so I guess I'm not cutting it too short. 45 minutes or so short from what I usually do. I'll tell you what here. Let's see. RGD Dave Escobar says RGD. Which do you prefer or neither? Fender Blues Deluxe or Fender Hot Rod Deluxe? Oh. Yeah, if you're talking about the clean channel, really, I think either one of them are fine because I think they both got excellent clean channels. The Blues Deluxe, on the other hand, if you're talking about the dirt channel, the hot rod, if you're talking about the gain channel on those amps, the Hot Rod Deluxe is known to be, is known to suck. I never minded it that bad. I never thought it sounded that bad, but a lot of people hate it. And on the Blues Deluxe, you crank the gain all the way up, and it just doesn't have a lot to it at all. Turned all the way up, it's still pretty low gain amplifier. So, it's between the two. I guess it kind of depends on what your use for it is. But if you're just comparing the clean channel, probably go Hot Rod. So, yeah, there we go. So, all right, guys. Adios.